everyone, welcome to Testing Hot New Makeup for November 2023. This is the video where I round up some of the hottest, most hyped up, most talked about new makeup releases, and I try them on camera for the very first time. I've got the brand new YSL All Hours Concealer. I have the new NARS Holiday Cheek Palette, as well as the new ABH Glow Seeker Highlighter, which I'm hearing from a lot of people is very, very similar to the discontinued Risa highlighter, which I do have, and if I can find it, I will swatch them side by side. I also am a little late with this one. It launched, I think, maybe even 3 months ago, but I was hesitant to purchase this being the Fenty Eavesdrop Smooth Skin Tint, simply because stick foundations don't tend to work well on my oily skin. However, when I went to this YouTube event last month in LA, there was a Fenty booth, and they had a makeup artist that color matched you and really, of course, talked up the foundation. So I decided, why not? It is part of my job to review all makeup. So I picked up one in shade 7, which was the shade he color matched me to. Then in my last video, I asked you all which new eyeshadow palette you wanted to see me test out for the first time in this month's video. And the majority of you who voted for the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge eyeshadow palette. And then I also picked up 4 of the new Maybelline Lifter Plumping Glosses that have the chili pepper in them. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous to try these because after I mentioned in my last video that I had placed an order for several of these, some of the comments said that they actually were painful. The people who commented did not like these lip glosses because they were actually painful on the lips. So I'm a little nervous. Okay, time to zoom you in and get started. I am applying a little eyeshadow primer to my lids as always. This one is from MAC Cosmetics. It is not new. It is the Prep and Prime 24-hour eyeshadow base. I do not have a new face primer to share this month either, or to try this month. So I will just be using one of my favorite smoothing primers that I get on Amazon. It is the Thank Me Later Mattifying Primer from Elizabeth Mott. A lot of you have told me to try the Thank Me Later eyeshadow primer too, and I am definitely going to order that ASAP. Okay, now it's time to try the Fenty Stick Foundation. Once again, this is in the shade 7. So I'm going to use the BK Beauty 101. And I am going to do a couple stripes and blend it out. Now this is supposed to have just sort of light coverage, which, if you know me, is not really my favorite. I personally prefer more medium to full coverage foundations. But I thought if this lasts, if it stays on my skin all day and doesn't make me too shiny, this would be a great foundation for those days where I don't want to do a full face. I just want to even out my skin tone, maybe add a little concealer, a little brow, mascara. And by the way, when this foundation was tested on me at the event, he didn't do the entire face. So I still consider this to be a true test because all he did at the event was take off people's makeup right in this area just to sort of color match them and allow them to see the coverage, because when you've got a room full of hundreds of YouTubers, specifically beauty and fashion YouTubers, we have spent hours, not hours, but we spent a good amount of time making sure our makeup looked good before going to the event, so we didn't really want anybody taking off our entire face. It looks okay. It looks fine. I'm adding a little bit more right here. I like it. I mean, my skin is my skin. I still have some texture and I still have pores, but the primer did help to minimize the look of the pores. It's not accentuating my pores, but I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like it's clinging to some dry patches that I didn't even know I had. Yeah, my nose is looking a little dry. And of course I did moisturize prior to filming. Okay, well, we're gonna carry on for now and check back as we go. And then of course I always do a check-in at the end of the day so you can see how everything held up. And I do that check-in in natural light. All right, next up is the YSL All Hours Precise Angles Concealer. I purchased the shade LN1 and I did order this online without checking the shade in store because at the time I ordered it, it was only available online. So I couldn't actually go to a store and swatch anything. So I'm hoping that this is a good shade for me. I do like the large doe foot applicator, and I do like that it's on an angle because I feel like that's good for getting right in here where my circles are extra dark today. Now sometimes I do like to apply concealer to the back of my hand first and then pick it up with a brush or sponge and blend it out. But when I'm trying a new concealer, I like to just sort of go in like you just saw me do with the applicator, just to see how it fits in this area. So the coverage is really good and it's blending out nicely. I wouldn't say that it is as highly concentrated as some other new concealer launches like the Natasha Denona or the House Labs. And there's pros and cons of having a highly concentrated concealer. The pro is obviously you can use less product because a little bit goes such a long way. The con is that sometimes it is more difficult to not blend out, but you cover more area than you intended to because you don't want to waste the concealer. And it's sort of difficult, or can be difficult, to figure out what that exact right amount is so that you don't apply too much, if that makes sense. So I think I did a good job on the online shade selection, and I like the way this feels. Of course, I won't know until after a couple of hours if I feel like the concealer made my under eyes look dry or if it started really creasing. I gotta say, I do love the coverage this is giving. It's really nice. Yeah, my under eyes look really good. The foundation might be growing on me too. It's sort of settled down a little bit and doesn't look as dry, which is very odd for me to say because I am so oily. All right, I do not have a new loose powder to use, so I'm just gonna go in with one that I have sitting here from Givenchy. This is the Prism Libre loose powder, and I'm just dusting that over my lids, a little bit underneath my eyes. Now, I also don't have a cream bronzer, so I'm just gonna take this NARS Laguna cream bronzer. In case you missed it, I did recently upload a full face of NARS. It was highly requested. And I don't know what's going on with those full face tutorials. It seems like some people do them and they get amazing views. And then I do them and they kind of tank. So I'm wondering if those of you who watch One Brand tutorials, what is it that makes you want to watch them? I mean, clearly you have to have interest in the brand, but I asked on my Instagram what brand people wanted to see, and NARS came out on top. And then I've seen other YouTubers do a full face of NARS as well with a similar amount of followers or a similar amount of subscribers that I have, and their videos like went viral. I don't know, maybe they're just that much better than me at doing them, I don't know. So anyway, all feedback is appreciated. And you can also let me know in the comments what brand you would like to see a full face of if I decide to do another one, which I probably will because I actually do enjoy doing them. And it's not always about the views. I want to make my Risa Does Makeup family happy. Okay, now, next I'm going to set this contour bronzer with something that is Not new, it's sort of new, but it is definitely new to me. I did not purchase one of these House Lab bronzers when they came out. I think it was over the summer, simply because I already own so many bronzers and there's so many that I love. I just didn't really feel the need. But then, like a lot of you, I was watching a lot of Sephora recommendations videos, and one of my favorite makeup artists, Melissa Herkman, who is not on YouTube, unfortunately. She does have a great Instagram page and I think TikTok as well. She was giving her recommendations on her Instagram story, and Melissa does incredible work. And she recommended this bronzer. She said it was one of her all-time favorites. So when you hear somebody you admire say that, you think, maybe I should consider it. So yes, consider me influenced. And I went for apparently Lady Gaga's favorite shade, Light Level 4. And Melissa said that this was such a smooth, skin-like bronzer, and oh, it really is. It's just sort of melting right into my skin. I'm not gonna lie, it would be nice if I found a bronzer I like just as much as my Gucci bronzer, because the Gucci one is pricey. Not that this one isn't pricey, it's just not as pricey as Gucci. I'm loving everything so far, even the foundation. I think the powder made all the difference. That Givenchy powder just airbrushes all the bad stuff away. All right, something else I don't have new, surprisingly, because I feel like I have a new brow product in every single one of my testing hot new makeup videos. I don't have a new one for this month, so I'm just gonna go off camera and fill in my brows with the Lawless brow pencil and the Lawless soft set brow wax. By the way, Lawless is another brand that I do have a full face of here on YouTube. So now it's time to get into this Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge eyeshadow palette. I saw my friend and fellow YouTuber Babs Beauty, Stephanie, aka Babs Beauty, do a tutorial using this palette, and when I tell you my jaw dropped, It looked so beautiful. Her look was so beautiful. I don't know if I can do as beautiful of a look as she did for two reasons. One, she's a lot younger than I am and doesn't have any loose skin on the lids. She also doesn't have hooded eyes. I'm going to apply a little bit of Scotch tape as my guide. I always put it on the back of my hand first to get off any excess stickiness. And then I raise my brows up, make sure the tape is at least somewhat even. I'm gonna take the light ivory shade in the palette and apply that all over my lid. This is mostly just to set the primer and the little bit of concealer that I also placed over the lid. And then I'm going to take another flat brush and go into this shade called Freedom. Oh, that is not what I was expecting. Holy cow, it looked like it was like a light, like pinky ivory. Can you see that? It's not. It is not at all. When will I ever learn to swatch these palettes before just sort of going in? I don't think this has ever happened to me before, where I have been so wrong about what a shade is going to look like. So I'm just taking a little concealer and obviously cleaning that up. So I'm not putting that underneath my brow. I might put that in my crease. So yeah, let's put that all over the lid and into my crease. Yeah, it makes a much better transition shade than an under the brow shade. Well, I'll tell you, it does have a lot of kick up in the pan. The shadows are extremely soft. Some people like that, some people don't. I don't mind it. I don't love it. It's getting kind of messy already, but it's not a deal breaker. And once again, I always say this because I always have new people watching my videos. Because I have hooded eyes, I like to do my eyeshadow with my eyes open and look straight into the mirror and make sure that I take that transition shade above where my natural crease would be so that you can at least see some eyeshadow when my eyes are open. All right, now I'm taking this rougher brush 13, and I'm gonna go into the shade, let's try Hope. It's like a deep gray. And I'm running that right through my crease, back and forth in a windshield wiper motion. And then I'm focusing it a little bit heavier on the outer corner. See how that just gave some depth to my eyes? Almost makes it look like I have a crease, and I'm just blending, blending, blending. One of the things people I've noticed don't do enough with their eye makeup is blend. When you think you've blended enough, blend some more. And then once you feel like you have blended enough, go back in with that first brush you used and go over it again. So there's no harsh edges. I want to use as many colors as possible, but when you have small hooded eyes, it's kind of a little bit more difficult. Sorry, the doorbell just rang. I don't know if I said this or not. I am using the shade, I think I put it into Fearless. Now you can hear my dog, probably. We're having our old barbecue demoed today. Our old barbecue area. So I'm just taking that shade Fearless and tapping that on the outer corners right along that tape. Okay, now it's time to play with one of these fun colors. These fun shimmers. I think I'm gonna start with Stand Up to see what that looks like first, and then I'll add one of the other sparklier colors to the top, over the top. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. I don't think I've seen a shade like this. Wow. Okay, I almost don't want to add anything else to this. But I'm going to go back and touch up those corners. I do want to try one of these more intense glitters. So I'm going to go into Maverick. Put that right on top of the center of my mobile lid. Just so when I look down, you see that sort of punch of silver. And again, for hooded lids, put your chin up and look down into the mirror so you can see the entirety of your lid. Otherwise, you're getting right in that fold. All right, now I did read that there is a cream shadow in here. You know, I could have like 10 of those angled BK Beauty brushes, and I always struggle to find them in my brush bag. It's because they're so small. I suppose I could just separate them out and make my life a lot easier. So I'm just applying this as close to the root of my lashes as possible. And then I'm just creating the tiniest outer wing. And I'm going from under the root of my upper lashes. I better hurry things up because they're about to make a lot of noise outside. Demoing the whole grill and the brick. Actually, it's not brick, it's stucco and tile. Okay, you know what? That actually went on nicer than the Patrick Ta cream shadow. And I'm just softening it with a little bit of the shade Renegade. All right, time to gently peel off the tape. And then what I like to do is take a little bit of my concealer brush, which has just some remaining concealer on it, and softening up the outer edges. And now for under the eyes, what do I want to do under the eyes? I'm going to take this Refer 03 brush and go into the shade Rise Up, and also a little bit of that Freedom shade that I thought was a light pink. And I'm running that along the lower lash lines. Well, not that I thought was a light pink. I thought it was like a light pinky ivory. That would work under the brow bone, but clearly didn't. Okay, now it's time to curl my lashes. And at that YouTube event, they gave us a really nice goodie bag. And in that goodie bag was this mascara set, this holiday mascara set that you can get at Ulta. It's from the brand Tarte, and it comes with all of their mascaras. I have not tried the Tartelette tubing mascara yet, so let's try it. Oh, I like the packaging of this. Oh, it has one of those rubberized bristle brushes, which are not my favorite, but we're going for it. So I'm getting a lot of length and separation from this, but not a whole lot of volume. And the thing about tubing mascaras is you typically can't do multiple coats to build volume. And I'm also applying a tiny bit to my lower lash lines. Okay, I am loving the eyes. Truly loving the eyes. I know this will come as a shock to absolutely no one, but I'm going to add some Risa Does Makeup corner lashes. And I also might put some black in the waterline to make this a more grungy, pretty grunge look. But for now, let's try this new NARS blush palette. This is called All That Glitters. In my full face of NARS video, I demoed the holiday edition eyeshadow palette. So here are the beautiful shades in this year's version. Now these all seem to have a little bit of shimmer to them, so I might not really need a highlighter, but I'm going to use one anyway because I'm eager to try the ABH one I got. Let's see how pigmented these blushes are. I think I'm going to do a combination of this peachy one and this sort of pinky peach one. And that's perfect. This is exactly the shade that I was hoping for. Just sort of a neutral pinky peach because the eyes are so strong. Well, looking at it now, it's not quite as blushy as I want. I would like a little bit more color. Do I try the red? Let's just try a touch of the red-ish. There we go. You know me, I love blush. I've got to be able to at least see it. All right, it's time for that ABH highlighter. The packaging on this is beautiful. I'm taking a highlighter brush and there we go. It is very pretty, as is the Risa. So like I mentioned earlier at the start of this video, I am going to try and see if I can find my Risa highlighter. I think I know where it is, to do a side-by-side comparison, although you've probably already seen one. They're probably everywhere, meaning a comparison photo. Popping a little bit of this in my tear ducts. Why do I feel like my under eye circles are still pretty dark? Do you think they look dark? You know, when I was at that YouTube event, I talked to a lot of, obviously, other YouTubers, and so many of them are so lucky because they have a spouse or a friend, someone who knows about either video editing or video production, lighting, sound. They just have someone in their life that's good at that stuff. And in all the years I've been doing YouTube, I've done everything myself, and I am not tech savvy at all. So I appreciate you all bearing with me as I go on a seemingly never-ending quest for good lighting and good sound. All right, I still feel like I need more blush. Okay, let's try one of these lip glosses. And I think I'm gonna do this shade right here. I did not bring in my glasses. 005, but I do need a lip liner. All right, I'm using the NYX Retractable Lip Pencil in Natural. And now I'm going in with the gloss. I do like the color. Well, I like the combo. So I think what I'm gonna do now is go fix my hair, put on some clothes like I always do, come back and give you my thoughts on everything, and go from there. But before I do that, let's take a look at my lips right now, and we'll see if by the time I come back they look any fuller. Okay, I know I say this after almost all of my testing hot new makeup videos, but I am really loving the way this turned out. As of right now, there isn't a single product I've tried that I don't really like and recommend. Even the foundation has definitely grown on me. When I was taking that after footage on my phone, I also took some photos and I zoomed in, and I've got to say my complexion looked really good. So I can see myself using this Fenty stick as just an easy, everyday, quick makeup application, foundation application. As long as it holds up for at least like 5 or 6 hours, I'll be very happy with this. So that sounds like a good time to transition into the end of the day footage, and then we'll close this out. Okay, I wanted to do this end of the day check-in before the sun went down. I hate that it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon now. I feel like it should be 9 p.m., but it's 4:30. Anyway, makeup, I think you can tell, still looks really good. I am shiny, but that is me after several hours with any foundation. Mattifying, not mattifying, matte primer, no matte primer. This is just what my oily skin looks like if I don't powder after several hours. But at least it's still intact. Oh, the TV is giving me a little bit more lighting. Yeah, I think everything looks great. The eyes still look fantastic. The blush is still there. I did change the lip. I used another one of the glosses, the new lifter glosses, and I really like it. This is the light pink that had no color at first, or it was very sheer at first, but then it kind of darkened as it heated up, and now it's like this pretty rosy pink, I think. So yeah, this is end of the day. I am very happy. All right, clearly I cannot see into the future, so I have no idea what I just said there. But as of this moment in time, I am really happy with everything I used today. As always, all of the products will be listed and linked down below in the description box. I'm also doing my best to tag the products that are available through YouTube shopping because I know that's a lot easier for some people. Oh, I almost forgot to give you another look at my lips. I don't know. Do you think they look fuller? Maybe a little. And I do feel a tingle and a little bit of a burn, but it's not painful. I, in the past, have found the Too Faced lip injections to be quite painful. However, this one just feels like a little bit of a warm tingle. In my opinion, it's not painful, but as we know, everyone has a different threshold for pain. And one more thing, I don't normally include fragrances in my testing hot new makeup, but I just got one in a PR package that I think you all might be interested in. So I think I'm going to open it and smell it for the first time on camera right now. I just have to go get it. So this is the new fragrance from Stephanie Letta. I'm sure a lot of you know who she is. She's sort of an OG YouTuber. She started, I think, at least 10 or 12 years ago. She has over 1 million subscribers. She's super sweet. She's gorgeous. She recently had a baby, I think about 6 months ago. And about a year ago, she launched her first fragrance called 22 Oris, I believe. And I did not get that one sent in PR, but I did purchase it. And I like it. I didn't love it. As we all know, fragrance is extremely personal, and what smells amazing on one person might not smell amazing on another. It's all about your body chemistry. One of my best friends has that fragrance, the 22 Oris, and is obsessed with it. I know a lot of you probably love it as well. And honestly, I don't dislike it. It's just not one I find myself reaching for a lot. Now, that said, I do love me some vanilla. I am super excited about this. And I can kind of already smell the scent from the box, and ooh, I think this one might be a little bit more up my alley. As with the other fragrance, the bottle is gorgeous. If I were ever going to create a fragrance, this is exactly the type of bottle I would want as well. It's stunning. Oh. Okay, I think she made this one for me. I'm just joking. But wow, does this smell amazing. Oh, I love a fine mist. You know what this smells like? It smells like walking into a very, very high-end boutique hotel. It just smells very warm and rich and comforting. Wow, I have got to go have my husband smell this, and I'll have my fingers crossed that he loves it as much as I do. All right, that brings us to the end of testing hot new makeup for November 2023. As always, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I really appreciate you giving it a thumbs up. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, I also hope that you will consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the Risa Does Makeup family. I do upload new videos at least twice per week. You can also find more content from me over on Instagram and TikTok. My username is the same on every platform. It's Risa Does Makeup. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next video.